Welcome to the Back Porch Talk Podcast. I'm your coach, Jason.
Your coach Danny.
Fans, we got a full show for you today. But go ahead and go ahead and subscribe. Let the algorithm. We need it. We need it. Tell a friend, tell two, tell 10, tell 20, 50, however many. Spread the word that Back Porch Talk Podcast is here. Danny, a little basketball, a little spring training, and some interesting news about a sports documentary that we both watched. But first, Danny, right into the NBA, where after the All-Star break, the NBA is in full fast motion. A lot of people say it's halfway through the season. That is not the case. When it comes to the All-Star game, you're more than halfway through the season. And we're like, what, 56 or so games, which leaves about 26 more games left in the season, in the regular season, that is. Although the Detroit Pistons lost last night to the San Antonio Spurs in Detroit, listen, the Detroit Pistons, in my opinion, in the Eastern Conference, I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win. And granted, yes, there's maybe a piece that's missing with regards to outside shooting, whatever the case may be. But man, they have that true grit. They are gunning for the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks have not had an answer to the Detroit Pistons. Boston Celtics, they're still in the mix. They're the number 2 seed. There's no telling what the Celtics are going to do, no telling when Jason Tatum will return. Cleveland Cavaliers, with the trade of James Harden and that duo of James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, we'll see where that goes. But we know how James Harden has choked in the playoffs. Will that happen again? And then you have the Toronto Raptors and Philadelphia 76ers to round out top 6 as of right now. Orlando Magic is on the outside. Well, they're the number 7 seed. They're in the play-in tournament. The Milwaukee Bucks are on the outside looking in. They're right now, they're the 11 seed, pretty much locked in 11 seed right now. They are 1.5 games behind the Charlotte Hornets. And the Milwaukee Bucks have actually done some things over the past few games, Danny. And Detroit Pistons going to win this Eastern Conference, man. I just don't see anybody getting with them. And this is barring major injuries. What say you, Danny, about the NBA and the Eastern Conference? And
Well, Jason, I watched that game last night. Detroit is, they're aggressive. I
Mhm.
was surprised how they're letting Detroit manhandle Wemby the way they were last night. I mean, they were making him, he was hitting the ground a couple times. He took a couple shots that they didn't call. So if they're going to let them play like that, they're going to be a tough out. There's still a lot of games left. Detroit has definitely put themselves to be in the number 1 spot. They're looking good. Boston is dangerous. And if Tatum comes back, it's a 50-50 because you don't know how he's going to impact the flow because they've been playing without him all season. And he's been usually I would call him the 1A versus 1B of Jaylen Brown, but now Jaylen Brown has been the 1A. And, Peyton Pritchard and those dudes have been stepping up. How does that impact that team? But definitely getting Tatum back, I think, would help the Celtics. And if they stay in the 2 spot, they wouldn't see Detroit until conference championship or conference final, I should say. So interesting there. The Raptors are an interesting team. They're in the 5 spot. They've been playing actually pretty well. It depends on Brandon Ingram if he can be consistent, but they have some length. They have some speed. They got quickly at point. RJ Barrett. So they got some talent over there. So I look at it like it's still wide open. And yeah, Detroit has the upper hand right now, but there's a lot of things that can happen. And with the Bucks, with Giannis, it sounds like he may be coming back soon. That'll be huge because I think they can catch the Hornets/Hawks. Those teams, the Hornets are getting healthy. They're getting their players back from the fight that they're suspended. So they're going to be tough to catch, but they're right there. So if Giannis comes back and they can get on a little run here, they can get into that play-in. It's not going to be easy though. So I know that with Cam Thomas coming back too, I'm curious how he plays with Giannis.
Hmm.
because he is ball dominant. But I
Very
thought that
ball.
was a great pickup for them, man. Honestly, when
Yeah.
I first saw that, I was like, for getting him for nothing,
Yeah.
pretty much. That's a nice
Yeah.
pickup. Young guy is not scared to shoot. So a lot of basketball still to be played. Bucks have a big game tonight against Miami, who sits in the eighth spot right now. So now it's
But
all about seeding.
but
And
Danny, if you're Milwaukee though, do you want to be in the playoffs? I mean, these young Bucks.
mm-hmm,
I think they're building on something. I need to look at their draft status, like in terms of
mm-hmm.
keeping a pick first round, if you will. If there's a pick swap or if there's certain stipulations on a pick or whatever, I need to look at that a little bit more. But right now they're on the outside looking in. And if they're in the lottery or if they can get a first round pick, I mean, to kind of help the situation out, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so do the Milwaukee Bucks really want to get into the play-in tournament? Because they'll lose in that one.
I look at it like this, man. If it's any experience they can get in that type of environment, especially since they're younger, why not? Because they're a little too far away from the tanking teams. I'm gonna call them that, with the Pacers, Nets, and Wizards. The Bulls are kind of on their heels. The Bulls are a game and a half behind them. There's no impact for them to make it in as like a 10 into that playing tournament, at least to play one game. I don't think it hurts. But I know it's going to be an uphill battle to get in there because the teams ahead of them are not slouches, and they're actually playing decent, even though a couple of teams are under 500. Charlotte's no, Charlotte's been
Hmm.
playing well.
Hmm.
But I look at it as try to get as much experience as you can if you're going to be actually building around some of these players, especially if you trade Giannis
Hmm.
and some of these guys you look at your core as a young group. Try to give them some experience.
And just as we talk about the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference is even more competitive, and where the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're only 2.5 games ahead of the San Antonio Spurs. And man, I did not think the San Antonio Spurs were going to be this good this soon. I thought they would go for Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need Giannis. You got Wemby giving it to Chet every time they play. I mean, the Houston Rockets with the controversy surrounding the team right now, I see KD eventually getting traded or shipped somewhere. So I don't think the Houston Rockets are going to last here. The Denver Nuggets, eh, they're right there. Of course, the injury bug hit them, but they're going to be in the mix. They'll be in the mix. The Lakers, Timberwolves, I'm interested to see the series between OKC Thunder and Spurs. That's a series I would be definitely interested in. I'll be interested in the series with OKC and the Denver Nuggets
Mm-hmm.
eventually. I would love to see that. So we'll see. We'll see. What say you, Danny?
The Nuggets, man, you can't count them out with Jokic and Jamal Murray being there so many times. As long as they're healthy, they're always going to be a difficult out of the playoffs. Thunder need to get healthy. They've been kind of treading water with SGA out and Jalen Williams hurt. A lot of their guys, I know right before the All Star break, they pretty much sat the whole team. Pretty much played a G League team. I believe it was against the Spurs, actually. Now that I think about it, Rockets they need a point. They needed a point guard. I didn't understand why they didn't get a point guard at the trade deadline. With Van Vliet being out for the year. So I thought that was a key mistake at the trade deadline for them. Lakers, they're so up and down, man. Defensively, it's a challenge. And one quick thing with the Lakers, man. Congratulations to Pat Riley getting the statue.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It was a very nostalgic weekend, Jason. We'll talk about the other part later in the show about the documentary, but seeing Showtime out there with Pat Riley at the halftime of the Lakers Celtics game on Sunday night, and for the Lakers to embarrass themselves against the hated rival of the Celtics to get out there and go get beat by 20, it was embarrassing. But congratulations to Pat Riley. Magic Johnson introduced them, and they had everyone there except for Coop. It was just great to see all the old greats there. Kareem, Jamal Wilkes, Silk,
Yep,
and the
yep.
list goes on and on, man. But yeah, so congratulations to them. But otherwise, Jason, I don't see any other real threats below the Timberwolves right now. The Suns, they can make some noise because they play good defense. Uh, but I'm not sure yet, man. So we'll see how this ends up. And Kawhi's been healthy. You never know with them. I just think with them losing Harden
Hmm.
and Zubats at the trade deadline, that
Yeah.
may hurt them in the playoffs. But Kawhi's been playing well.
Yeah, not only hurt them in the playoffs, but I'm just thinking about this offseason where there's just going to be a whole lot happening with the Clippers organization with a potential verdict or a potential decision about some of the issues surrounding the Clippers. So we'll see where that goes for the team. But Clippers have been playing well. I give them that. Give them that. But just as we're talking about the NBA, Danny, part of the conversation that I really wanted to jump into, man, was on this docuseries called Soul Power that has been executive produced by Common, who actually narrates, whose father actually was an ABA player, American Basketball Association player. He had Dr. J also, who executive produced, Todd Lieberman, George Carl, and Keenan Kumwana Holly. Hopefully, hope I pronounced that correctly. But man, Danny, this docuseries was amazing. It's a four-part docuseries, and this documentary has been publicized. You saw Dr. J doing the press tour on the docuseries, and they claim to be the definitive story and first docuseries of the American Basketball Association, chronicling the 1967 launch of this league. And Danny, we grew up on basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and there was just so many things I learned in this documentary and this docu series. One of the things I learned was just how better, in a sense, the ABA was than the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
As kids growing up, Danny, a lot of the style that we had when you're talking about running up and down the court, when you're talking about the passes, the fundamentals, when you talk about the 3-point shot, enjoying the dunk contest,
Mm-hmm.
that all came from the ABA. And watching this docu series and watching the film footage, I'm like, man, this is exactly how we played.
Yes.
Just how agile and just flexible and athletic how the ABA was, man. I was like, this is exactly how we played, man. Man, just the stories of how the ABA launched and the struggles and just the empowerment, the empowering of women uh, to really be leaders, especially for the Kentucky Colonels,
Yep.
and how the attendance was raised, how they won a championship eventually. I mean, this chronicle of the ABA was epic, man. And I was just really enjoying this docu-series, man. And who could forget Iceman interjecting every so often, telling his story and things of that nature. But the merger between ABA and NBA, how that came about, and man, just Spencer Haywood, just
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the basketball greats who you've heard about, Moses Malone, Rick Barry,
Yep.
just a lot of players in their story in the ABA, connections to the NBA, and Dr. J, the cool brother with the afro, but how he really tried to save the ABA. And man, this was just a great docu series. I highly recommend it. What say you, Danny, about this docu series, Soul Power?
Agree, Jason. I had to binge watch this one because I didn't know exactly when it was being released, and when you had gave me the text that it was out, because I saw Dr. J promoting it over All Star Weekend. It was the actual understanding of how they came about and the original teams, the financial struggles they had, how the NBA was trying to undercut them at all costs throughout this whole thing, which eventually ended up absorbing four teams from the ABA: the
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio Spurs, the Denver Nuggets, the New York Nets at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and the Indiana Pacers. Also, a lot of these stories, like you mentioned about Spencer Haywood, where the NBA had the rule of you had to, you know, go to school 4 years pretty much in order to enter the NBA. The ABA, they kept showing they had these great things about how they're kind of battling all these different points. And where the ABA said you didn't have to go to school all 4 years. You could enter earlier, you could earn a paycheck. The Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar story,
Mm-hmm.
where,
Oh,
which,
I didn't know that one.
no, I didn't either. And for those of you who did not see it, real quick, it's spoiler alert. I'm calling spoiler alert. Kareem was offered allegedly $1 million by the ABA, and he had a deal with the Bucks because he had been the number one pick. And then once he was going to go to the ABA, they actually George Mikan, who was the general manager of the league, undercut the salary. So then Kareem went to the Bucks. He could have easily been the ABA,
Mm-hmm.
which rewrites history in so many fronts. And there's a lot of that in this documentary, that there's a lot of history that could have been rewritten depending on how things went in certain situations. Like Dr. J, they mentioned, went, spoiler alert, he played actually for the Atlanta Hawks for 10 days.
Yep.
No idea about that.
Didn't
And
know
for
that
me,
at all.
but just the story behind how they got to where they were
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
how the ABA shaped a lot of what we were doing, like you mentioned, when we grew up. And if you watch today's game, it's like a carbon copy.
It's a carbon copy of the ABA.
It's up and down, three
Yeah.
pointers, dunking on cats.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great job, man, by the whole staff that did this docu series. I will be watching it again
Yeah.
because I know there's some things I may have missed that I need to pick up on. It was a shame that it had to be disbanded the way it was. It was great, and seeing Dr. J and him getting his flowers,
Mm-hmm.
with him still being around and everything, and how good he was. And that was the other thing with this too. A lot of these players were in the ABA. By the
Man.
time they got to the NBA, they were they're still great, but they were
Oh.
a shell of their greatness. Because we caught Dr. J kind of on his tail end.
Mm-hmm.
Once
Mm-hmm.
he got into this with the Sixers, he was still great. But that ABA Dr. J was something different.
Man, it's something different, man. Oh,
so
golly.
so yes, definitely be checking out again. And fans, if you haven't seen it, it's on Amazon Prime. You got to check it out.
And Danny, right into Major League Baseball, where spring training is happening right now. And Milwaukee Brewers, they gotta get this right, man. They gotta get this right, Danny. The Brewer fans are, we've been waiting. They gotta get this right, man. And I just did not like the moves the Brewers have done or have made throughout the course of this break, winter season, whatever the case may be, and starts in spring training. Let's get the fundamentals right. Let's get it down pat. Let's get our defense going. But man, let's get these bats going. That's been our hiccup for the past few playoff runs. The bats. So come on, y'all. What say you, Danny?
Well, Jason, on the Brewers front, your boy Woodruff is has a lat injury and is questionable for the opener.
See, this is what I'm
Uh,
talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about.
I know.
This is exactly what we do. This is what I'm talking about, Danny. This is exactly what I'm talking about, man. So why we give up Freddie Peralta?
Yep.
Why we give up Freddie?
So still be to be determined if he's going to, open on opening day. But he does have a lat injury. And Jason, a couple other things just quickly with spring training. The automated ball strike system, challenge system, is being looked at, evaluated by teams on how they may or may not use this system, depending on the actual batter, and how some of these things are going to impact the game. From what I've heard from various, outlets, so far it looks like it won't impact the game too much as far as a timing perspective. If it's if there's a challenge. Another thing in spring training, Jason, are these hamate injuries, where like Francisco Lindor, Corbin Carroll, a couple others have had this injury, which is it sounds like a 6-week recovery after surgery, which could impact their power. And that's part of your hand. So it heals up. It just takes time to get back and get your power back. So I'm curious, and it's just weird because it's been like 3 or 4 of these. Gunnar Henderson, I believe, is another one that has this injury. So we'll see, man. And so the main thing right now is keeping everyone healthy. I know the World Baseball Classic is coming up soon, but the games are in full effect right now in spring training. Looking forward to opening day within this less than a month.
Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.